Hi guys. I I always say I'm transparent with you guys, and that's most revealed in the most sensitive things. And I'm going to talk about my spirituality today, right now, and not so much my opinion or even God's opinion, because I'm not God to know His opinion, but just the facts about my data about spirituality. And I thought maybe it'd be interesting because I'm learning myself. So here goes. The thing that just came to me that made me do this video was I went to church last night and the pastor said that the tree of knowledge, which is literally the tree that Adam and Eve weren't supposed to eat, um, is basically the tree of knowledge. Um, and then I thought about it, and my name is Wiseman. And Wiseman is a knower of things, or a person that has knowledge or is able to get knowledge. And I wonder if there's a connection there. Have I got a deeper inclination or bent or something to toward the tree of knowledge, which the pastor said is still here, just not in literal form? You can still do things and think things that are partaking of the tree of knowledge today. It's just not a literal piece of fruit anymore. But since Adam and Eve opened that Pandora's box or that door, we can do that. And I wonder if I do it more than average or even a lot or whatever, based on my name being Wiseman. But I don't want to stop there. I want to tell you guys the whole story about my spiritual data, and then what I think may be irrelevant. What God thinks is the key, but we're not God to know that. So I'll just give you the data. Okay. I'll probably make this quick. Like you guys all know, probably my birthday is 12/6/66. That's 666. And to relate to three other guitar players that have similar birthdays, Randy Rhoads was born 12/6/1956, 10 years before me to the day. So we're both born on the 6th, but we're 10 years apart to the day. So there's that. Then Steve Vai was born 6/6/60, which makes us exactly half of 13 years apart, which is 6 years and 6 months. And we both have 666 because he's 6/6/60 and I'm 12/6/66. And then Paul Gilbert, his birthday is 11/6/66, so we both have 666, and we're exactly 1 month apart. So there's that. So maybe the sixes have to do with guitarness, but that's not guaranteed. That's not a fact. That's not proof, but it's possible. And of course, I'm Sagittarius, and I'm also a Sagittarius ascending. I figured that out on my own. I studied astrology enough to know that. I'm not just a sun sign, a Sagittarius, but equally important, or one of the top two important, is you're ascending. That's based on the time of day you were born and where on the earth you're born, as well as what time of year and all that. So that's the ascendant, not the ascending, ascendant. My ascendant is also Sagittarius. And so I'm a double Sagittarius, sun sign ascendant. Sun sign Sagittarius, ascendant Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is a fire sign, and it's a mutable sign. So mutable means that I'm good at communication. Fire means I've got lots of fire, lots of power and whatever. I don't know, whatever I do, I really mean it, or whatever, something like that. Now now in Chinese astrology, I'm a fire horse. Everybody born on the year 1966, or 60 years before or after, or 120 years before or after. It cycles every 60 years, because there's 12 signs in the Chinese zodiac, but there's 5 types of each sign. So there's 60 total. 12 times 5 is 60. There's 60 total combinations, and I'm a fire horse in Chinese astrology, which is a double fire sign, because the horses are fire signs. So I'm a double fire sign in Chinese astrology. In fact, in Chinese history, when people were going to be born, if they were going to be born fire horses, they didn't want you to be born then. They tried to get you to get birth the year after or the year before. They actually tried to avoid my Chinese astrological sign by not having as few people as possible born on the day, on the year of being fire horses, because there's just so much power there. So I think it's coincidence. Not coincidence, but interesting that I've got a lot of fire in me. I've got knowledge based on my name. Well, let me talk about my name for a second. More than I already have. Okay. I'm not talking about my the history of my parents, because being Jim Morrison's son or not has nothing to do with my spirituality, and also I look nothing like my adoptive parents, so their ilk and their geneticisms are unrelated to my spirituality as well. But the name they gave me might be interesting. My middle name is Rex, which means king in Latin. Tyrannosaurus Rex, Oedipus Rex, king. Rex is a word for king. And then my first name is James, which could be, there's a King James Bible. I don't know. That doesn't, I don't know if that makes any sense. But King James was not even a good person. He just made a bunch of Bibles to get his name out and stuff like that. Anything else there? Let me think. Well, okay. Names might be important in my adoptive family, even though I don't look like them. My dad was James Rex Wiseman Sr. I'm James Rex Wiseman Jr. And my dad had a brother named John Mark Wiseman. Interestingly, John and James are the sons of thunder in the Bible. And not only that, but since my dad's brother was John Mark, not only was John a name in the Bible, but the writer of the Gospel of Mark was actually named John Mark. His name was Mark was his second or secondary name. The writer of the Gospel of Mark was actually named John Mark, which was my dad James's brother. And so he had John Mark Wiseman, James Rex Wiseman Sr., and now I'm James Rex Wiseman Jr. And just a tidbit, doesn't have anything to do with my spirituality, so sorry for deviating, but my dad was also a second or fourth or something cousin to Jesse James, because my dad's mom's maiden name was James. Her name was Frances James, and she was a relative of Jesse James, so my dad has Jesse James's blood in him. I'm not sure exactly what the exact relation is, if it's second cousin, fourth cousin. I'm not even an expert on relations. I wouldn't know, but he's not that far off from Jesse James in his blood. And okay, so maybe I've covered it. I actually want to say one more thing. I'm the kind of person, I like knowledge, and even though I realized that a light bulb went off in my head when I realized that since my name is Wiseman, maybe I partake of the fruit of knowledge, the fruit of the tree of knowledge that's existence figuratively today more than an average person. Even though it might seem like a negative detail about my spirituality, I like any kind of truth about myself because I know so little about myself at times. And plus I'm a truth seeker, right? I first and foremost want truth. Only secondary do I say, well, do I like that or do I not? I like to have truth, whether I like that truth or not. I like to know what is true about something, and something important is my spirituality, and I like to know about that. And one last thing, I think. Yeah, one last thing. Let's do one last thing. The three wise men in the Bible, those were, I think people know by now, but those were not Christians. They were sent by Herod to find out where Jesus was so Herod could kill them, and they were astrologers from the East, I guess, and they were magi. They were pagan, wise people, wise men. And the thing is that I have some of that in me too. I don't know if wise men means that I'm good at the occult, because I've dabbled in that, or maybe I could be wise in a good way, in a Christian way, and I've studied the Bible some. I'm not sure, but the three wise men of the Bible were the occult type of wise men, and I have some of that in me too. And in fact, they followed a star, whereas I think that Joseph and Mary, not Joseph and Mary, I don't know. I should know this better than I do. The star wasn't followed by anyone righteous. Stars were, heavenly things, and God didn't lead anyone to Jesus by a star. I think that I forget how. I have to research the story again, but when God led someone to Jesus, it wasn't through a star, and the astrologers followed the star at night, and that was not God's method of leading them, pagan magi's, to Jesus to do Herod's will. Anyway, I think I've said what I needed to say. Make sure I got it all. Okay, love you guys. Peace, rock and roll.